What if African spiritual leaders had fought colonialism with magic? This is a story on the war of spirits, a battle beyond the physical. Imagine a world where African spiritual leaders, diviners, medicine men, priestesses, and warriors fought colonial rule not just with spears and guns, but with powerful supernatural forces. What if the battle for Africa's freedom had been waged on both the physical and the spiritual planes? Across Africa, spiritual leaders played key roles in resisting colonial rule. But what if their powers had been fully weaponized against the colonizers? Would history have taken a different turn? Oh, join me in this place where the sun kisses the earth and your ancestors live now and forever. In many African societies, spirituality was deeply connected to warfare and leadership. Before colonialism, kings and warriors often consulted spiritual leaders before going to war. From the Ifa diviners of West Africa to the rainmakers of East Africa, spiritual figures were more than just healers. They were strategic advisors, capable of rallying people for war and resistance. Leaders like Nehanda Nyakasikana of Zimbabwe inspired warriors through spiritual visions. She prophesied that the land would one day be free again. Her words fueled rebellion, providing that spiritual influence was a powerful force. Now, let's reimagine history. What if African spiritual leaders had fully weaponized their mystical knowledge against the colonial forces? What if they had formed a secret alliance across the continent, using their abilities to drive the invaders away? Imagine a unified network of spiritual leaders across Africa, conducting synchronized rituals to disrupt colonial rule. The land itself would become a battlefield, not just in the physical sense, but in the realm of the spirits. In this alternate timeline, colonial soldiers might have faced resistance beyond their understanding, visions that drove them mad, rivers that refused to let them cross, even their own weapons turning against them. If African spiritual leaders had fought back with magic, would the colonizers have been able to hold on to power? The European colonial powers relied on brute force, technology, and psychological domination. But if they had faced unexplained supernatural resistance, their conquest of Africa might have taken a very different turn. Without a firm grip on Africa, European powers might have reconsidered the expansion, allowing African nations to maintain their sovereignty much, much earlier. If spiritual warfare had successfully driven out colonial powers, how would Africa look today? In this alternate reality, African nations may have developed along a path where science and spiritual wisdom coexisted, creating a society built on both logic and ancient knowledge. Without colonial disruption, if it was avoided, Africa's traditional governance structures might have remained intact, leading to a stronger, more unified nation. But of course, this is an imagined scenario. But it forces us to think, what powers did our ancestors truly have? And what knowledge did colonialism erase? While Africa's past was shaped by colonialism, its future is still being written. A return to cultural and spiritual knowledge could be the key to shaping a stronger, more independent continent. But what do you think? Could African spiritual power have changed history? And how could we reclaim our lost knowledge today? Let's talk about it in the scrolls below. May the wind of the ancestors guide you. Cola, cola, cola. Awaken.
What if, what if? What if, what if? What if, what if? What if you could hear the sound laid deep in the hearts of our chosen? Would it sound like silence? Or the pounding of the tom-tom drums buried in the sand? What if the story was ours to tell? Rise where our forefathers fell, the hopes of ancestors seeping through our dreams like a brewing stone from the banks and streams of the night. Mama Africa, can you hear me calling? Can you hear him calling? What if? What